Yes, everyone, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson. I don't know why I'm sitting here smiling like everything's fucking rosy at the minute with United, because it clearly isn't, is it? This is tactical preview of Manchester United against Liverpool at Anfield tomorrow morning. I mean, it's afternoon, let's be honest, but it feels like morning. Do you know what? I'm planning on getting up so late it will be morning, because I'll be staying up for the UFC. And segued into come and watch us as we do a watch along for the UFC over on MMA Latest. Right, you know what's happening. I know what's happening. The big issue is what's going to happen with Marcus Rashford. So, team news then. Ollie has been talking. He says, Marcus will have more checks and treatment today, but I'm not holding my breath. Would think he wouldn't be ready, but there is still 48 hours. Let's see. And then he went on to speak about the depth at some of the places after talking about Young going. He says, when he was asked, will United sign a replacement? He said, Timothy's coming back. He's a right back and played for Holland as a right back, age 19. We want him back. Diogo is fit, but the position full back, we're quite okay. Ashley Young isn't available because he's over in Milan doing his medical and shit. Anyway, on the Young exit, he says, Young's 35 in the summer, and if he gets a 2-year contract somewhere, I think it's up to him to take that. We were ready to offer that. He's been a good servant, captain, won trophies, League Cups, but we've got players coming through. Damn right we have. Talking about the form, United have only scored 2 goals in our last 4 away games in all competitions. Our leading scorer being out doesn't really fill you with a lot of confidence going into that, does it? We haven't won in our last 4 visits to Anfield. And the last time Liverpool dropped points at home in the league was against Leicester last season, 30th of January. So, monumental task. We are currently 5 points off 4th place Chelsea. Don't know if we'll be closing that gap this weekend. Could think that probably, in all probability, is going to get increased. Opposition-wise, Liverpool absolutely flying at the moment. I've done some previews this week with people from Liverpool, and you can see the smugness and confidence in their eyes and in the way they're talking. I think Godzilla's fighting a dinosaur upstairs. And they've earned that right, I'll be honest with you. They're playing... Do you know what? They're not playing their best football. And I've seen some of the comments on the collaboration that I did with Redmen this week talking about that, when they're like, well, we've literally had the best start to anyone. No, the performance is different to the result. The results they're getting are outrageous at the moment. The performances are not outrageous. The performances I certainly thought were better last year. They were snotting more teams last year. They, for me, was more convincing last year. But this year, they've been more consistent. There's a massive difference in that. And either thing, I would give my right arm for United to be either of those things at the moment. We're simply not. They're 14 points clear of City with a game in hand. They had not been beaten in the league since January last season. On track for record points. Only dropped points against United so far in the 1-1 draw early this season, which I will say United should have gone on and got the 3 points in that. They'll always line up in 4-3-3, which is essentially a 2-3-5. Both fullbacks are heavily on the overlap. Only conceded 14 goals this season. The record, which I don't think they're going to get, is 15 by Chelsea in 04-05 under Jose. They do play out from the back. Van Dijk has got the most passes of any player in the league this season with 1,733, almost 300 more than the next, which is Rodrigo. So the way Liverpool like to play football, people see this as a diss that they're a bit of a long ball team, but it's not. It's just a fact. They go long into the channels and then they do very well to recycle possession and keep it there, and then they whiz it in. They cross a lot, so you've got to be on the ball heading wise, which I think we can probably deal with Harry Maguire. But I think there's a lot of things that United need to worry about in this game. I think you can press them. I think you can get in behind them. We're obviously going to play on the counter. And I don't see that as a diss to United. Like, oh, you're only, if you get a result, it's only because you countered them. Well, so fucking what? Like, every other team that they've played in the league this season could have also done that and could have took some fucking points off us. Yet it's up to us to save the fucking day to make sure that they don't go unbeaten and crow about it for 45 fucking years. Know what I'm saying? So, do I think United are going to take 3 points off them? No. Do I think we can spoil the party a little bit and not lose? I do, but I'd feel a lot more confident about that if I thought Marcus Rashford was going to feature and if I thought Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay was going to feature. Those 3 added to our team, and actually I do think United could go here and get a result. Not just a draw, but actually go and beat them. The fact that we probably won't have any of those 3, I do worry, and we're hoping for them to be a bit complacent coming into this, and for us to have just one of those games where everything goes right for us, which we are capable of doing. I'm just not confident of it. I've got to be honest with you. United's player to watch is going to be Harry Maguire. Brand new, shiny Manchester United captain. Strange that he's been given the captain's armband so early in his Manchester United career, but 86% passing accuracy, just behind Van Dijk with 88. Dribble pass 0.2 times per game, which is the exact same as Van Dijk. 1.7 interceptions, which is greater than Van Dijk, and fifth most headed clearances in the league with 57. We're going to need that with Trent just whizzing balls in all day long, I think, on Sunday. So, how do you line up? How do I think United are going to line up? Well, here's how I think we're going to line up. I don't think we've got a lot of choice, if I'm going to be honest with you. Big Dave in net, Lindelof and Maguire at the back, Wan-Bissaka on the right, Brandon Williams, who I think could be a bit of a secret weapon for United here. Because he likes to get forward so much, will that peg Trent back just a little bit? That's where we find out if Ollie's brave enough to let him do what he needs to do going forward, because Brandon's been a brilliant outlet for us in the attacking sense in every game he's played, to be honest. You know, he's won a couple of penalties, he's made things happen, he's scored a goal, he's getting shots. Let him keep doing what he's doing. Fred and Matic, who I think have been decent, if not, I think there's levels to this game and I think they've been decent. Let's not get carried away. James actually I had it the other way around. The lads have done the graphic wrong. James on the left with Mason on the right, not as it's shown there. But Jesse Lingard in the middle. Now, we're going to find out if there's any truth to Jesse trying to get a move out this weekend. Because if it's not Jesse, and I know people will be like, oh, no goals, no assists. Don't give a fuck in this sort of game. In this sort of game, this is where you want Jesse Lingard. Are we going to press from the front? Right, sound, yeah. There's no one better in our team at doing that than Jesse. That's what I want in this team. I want bags of energy, I want bags of press, and I want aggression. And for me, that's what Jesse Lingard brings. There's not a lot else he brings. But if he's not featuring in this game, and it is Andreas Pereira, which I think there's a good chance it might be, then we're going to find out whether Jesse is on the naughty step or not, and possibly hanging for a move away from United, as per the Raiola agent sort of tie-in. And Tony Marshall up front. I've got a couple of bets this weekend, and it is brought to you guys by the good folks over at Betfair. Right then, the first bet that we'll be doing of the weekend then is going to be a half-time, full-time result, and I'm going with Manchester United to be drawing at half-time and winning at full-time. I'm thinking like a smash and grab 1-0 late on in the game. £10 on that is going to return £340. It's currently at 34 on the Betfair exchange. If you fancy that one, the link will be in the description if you do want to check that one out. And I'm also going with a lay bet as well. Lay bet's where we back the other side of the market, where we go, maybe we don't think this one's going to happen. Here's what I'm going with my lay bet. I'm going to say there's going to be under 2.5 goals. So I have laid the over 2.5 goals. That's at 1.8. So £10 has a liability of £8. Remember, when it's a lay bet, I take the side of the bookie. So I think there's going to be very few goals in this game. So I've laid over 2.5. So to win a tenner, I will have a liability of 8 if that one comes in. Like I said, make sure you're 18 plus, be gamble aware, and all the links for the following in the description below. Righty then, let's have a look at some of the questions from you guys from this weekend. Over on the Patreon, Luke says Wanfield 2.0 or Bramfield. This is from another comment. Bramfield 1.0. Do you know what? I've got a sneaking suspicion that Brandon could actually go and grab a goal this weekend. I think that'd be absolutely mega, wouldn't it? How do we approach the game if Rashford isn't available? Surely we don't have anywhere near enough threat on the counter without him. I think we actually do. I think with Greenwood, James and Martial, we still have quite a considerable counter-attacking threat. I would just feel a lot more comfortable if we also had Marcus Rashford. Marcus is the player for a big game. Every single big occasion, Marcus has needed to step up. He stepped up. First Manchester derby, age 18. He's out there retiring defenders. You know, cup semi-finals, free kicks, penalties at Paris, and like Marcus is the kid for the big occasion. And the form he's in, I would love to have seen him scoring at Anfield. I think he would have done it, but not to be. I don't think. I mean, we could be surprised. He could still turn up, but I'm not hanging my hat on it. If we get a VAR decision that favours us instead of them, and it helps us win the match. What if we get a VAR decision that favours us instead of them and it helps us win the match? Well, if we do, we do. It's a weird question. We know Williams is going to the Euros. Who should Southgate take as his backup? In all seriousness, I do think Brandon should go to the Euros, and he probably will be back up. I think he'll be back up to Chilwell. I just see Rose getting injured, and then Brandon going as his backup. Greenwood to score the 89th minute winner. Greenwood's also got a bit of a knack as well, hasn't he? And I think it would be not against his sort of mentality to be able to grab one of those. Should we play Mata? Being in great form, but playing 3 games in a week might not be the best idea. You say that, but then you look how many games that are coming up, and you're like, have we got much choice but to play him? Michael, do I think Ollie will switch to a 3-5-2 and try and deal with Trent and Robertson? And if so, do I think it'll work again? Or, like City, will Liverpool adapt and make it a very long game for us? Liverpool are flying at the moment. We need them to not be at the races. We need them to probably underestimate us. We probably need them to give away a silly foul. If Liverpool turn up and play to their ability, and we turn up and play to our ability, we lose. So we got to hope for a lot of things. 3-5-2, don't know if it's the craziest idea to try, to be honest, but when was the last time we tried to do that? Was it Sheffield United? That didn't go so well, did it? So I think Sheffield United aren't as well equipped as Liverpool as well, so I would edge against it, to be honest with you. Tommy, do I think he'll start Shaw? Saw all his comments saying he believes Shaw is the best English left back in the league. That's not what he said. He said he had the potential to be one of those. Definitely check the quote properly. But no, I think it's got to be Brandon. Drager says, would I agree with Liverpool's quite linear style of breaking teams down, early crosses from fullback? Would it be a good time to bring Axel due to Lindelof's weakness in the air? If he's fit, do you know what? I said I was going to try and look last week, but I haven't had a chance yet to find out what actually is going on with Axel. I don't understand why people don't ask this in the press conference. Do you know Axel Tuanzebe and maybe Rojo? What's going on with them? How long are they out? They don't really tell us, do they? Or what if Baye? What if you threw Baye in the mix as well? That'd be good. Although I love beating these bin dippers. Would it be best for the squad to rest the major players for Burnley and hope that we don't get embarrassed or risk more injuries, says Dean. To be honest, mate, I think if you rested loads, you could get very embarrassed in this game, and I think that might be detrimental. I think you can still go and shock them, and I hope Ollie's sitting there and saying, lads, you can fucking do this, because I think they can do this. We still could get massively turned over, though. Michael, with a heavy defeat, 3+ goals, how much pressure would there be on Ollie? Conversely, if Ollie wins, where will he put the statue? I don't think there should be pressure on Ollie if we lose this game heavily. We're expected to lose this game heavily. Now, that's not to say that there won't be, but I think people expect us to lose this game heavily, so why would you be bothered if we did? Johnny, unless Fernandes pushes the deal through today, Fred, Matic and Mata in the middle, or Pereira and Jesse's energy more useful, or will Ollie shock us and put Angel in? Wouldn't mind seeing Greenwood in a 10 role too. I agree with you about Greenwood in the 10, but I think he's probably going to be needed in one of the wide areas, or possibly up front this weekend. I think I would go with the Jesse or Pereira energy, but you are right, something like Angel, because Angel's very good on the press as well, actually, because of how small and agile he is. That's a massive gamble, that, in it, throwing Angel in, because I'm behind the desire to see Angel given a new deal, sign a new deal. He's been offered one, so sign a new deal and get this thing over the line and see him start playing games for Manchester United more regularly. But he hasn't looked great in the 23s, so throwing him in this sort of situation is a bit crazy. Scovbo says, isn't it a bit telling that Bruno Fernandes' deal is being held up so we lose against Liverpool? Woodward will announce a transfer to soften the blow instead of actually getting the deal done early so he could have played. I honestly don't think that's the case. I think that United would have rushed it through if they could. It sounds like the deal's only just been done today. They really wanted him to play in the match. I think that's a mad idea for him to play in the match if he's going to play in the match. So I honestly don't think that they was like, oh, let's lose and then see what happens. No, I don't think that's the case. I mean, I'm not saying it definitely isn't, but I don't think it is. Likelihood of Brandon getting a yellow? Oh, certainty. Dar Solo, why did Young suddenly want to leave so desperately? Not that it's a bad thing, but he's been loyal to the club. It's just a shame it ended this way. Maybe because he was told that, like we'd been saying, there's better players than you by a long way. So, I don't know. Do we target Trent because of his weakness for defending? You do, yeah, because Trent loves to get forward. That's the gap that you try and get him behind, and that's where I wanted to see Marcus twisting him up again, because he's not been able to deal with Marcus any of the times he's played against him. So I would like to see that. can Dan James do it now? I think physically probably not to the same level, but pace-wise he could. If we manage to score first again, how confident that we can manage to hold the fort? Well, it depends when we score. If you score in the first minute, that's a long time to hold on. If you score in the 91st minute, bit different, isn't it? Do I think Ollie will go with a 4-4-2 and split strikers like he did last season? No, because I think we just don't have the midfield to play a proper four in midfield. Perfect match for Gomez, or is it more suited for Lingard? I think Lingard. I know Dalot is just back from injury, but I think he could be using the right midfield similar to last season to give us more defensive cover, and then James go left with Marcus likely to be out. That's not the worst idea I've ever heard, to be honest. Yeah, giving Dalot a bit of a shout, even if he was on the right. Even if he was on the left and he was coming inside on his right foot. That's not the craziest idea. And he did name check Dalot a little bit today, didn't he? So yeah, maybe. Surely Messi Lingard plays and shows Virgil up. I wouldn't call him that, but yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he harasses him a little bit with how high their line is. That's how you've got to get him. There's not really anything else. Like to see Ollie start with Angel, but what's my opinion on who should start as a 10? Andreas or Gomez, as I've already said. Jesse. With Rashford out, will Marshall be able to produce anything at the moment? Seems like they need each other on the pitch to unlock defences. Of course they do. Any good team looks worse when one of their best players is out of that team. Any team, anywhere. Like, if you take Mane out of Liverpool's front three, they just suddenly don't look as good. And it's the same with United. You take one of our prongs away, then we're not as potent. Do I think we'll get someone in once the Bruno deal is done? Personally, I think the addition of two midfielders, Bruno and one other, would make us favourites for top four. I'm assuming you mean in favourites out of all of the rest of the people that are fighting for top four, because I think City, Leicester and Liverpool are pretty much sewn up for top four. I don't know about favourites. I think Chelsea's still got a very strong squad and they could do bits, and they're adding to that squad by the looks of things in January as well. So I would hope another midfielder comes in. I can't get word on what position, let alone who that additional signing is, if we're able to get two done this window. But Bruno's a good start. Like I said all along, I think this is probably going to be Paul Pogba's replacement, and we've just managed to get it in before Pogba goes. So that's my thoughts on that. It looks like it's all but done. Probably by the time this comes out on Saturday morning, it may already be done, or he may already be on his way in. Let's hope that's the case. And yeah, that's it, I guess. Join us on the watch along tomorrow on Stretford Paddock if you'd like to tune in. We're just going to probably have a couple rums and try and have a laugh, considering the circumstances are that we might be watching United get absolutely bitch slapped by Liverpool. But before you go, make sure to check the links in the description and come and have a look at the bets that I'm placing. So I'm going to be backing Manchester United to be drawing and winning by full time, and that's at 34. If you fancy a tenner on that, you're going to win 340 quid. And there's also the lay bet, which is going to be under 2.5 goals. If you fancy that one as well, you can win a tenner with only £8 liability. Links for both of those are in the description. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.